Live yet? A little bit of a time delay, I believe. We are now live. Yes, we've been live for 10 seconds. I thought so. Finding there's a little bit of a time delay with this setup that we're using, and I guess there's really no way around it. So rather than just sitting there with a blank stare on my face like this, are we there yet? I like to be a little bit more exciting in the beginning, and then we'll dull things down as we progress. But I like to use this to kind of liven things up a little bit. Yeah, important office supply right here. Great little cat toy, too. But yeah, Dollar General, don't leave home without it. But anyway, today's live stream, we're going to be talking about build your freedom and escape the rat race. A few tips. And, you know, I have been working from home successfully since 2011. And by successfully, I mean been paying the bills, been keeping enough money coming in to, feed myself, feed our wife, feed our dogs, feed our cats, keep the property, that we own, keep that going, keep everything turned on. And we've been doing this since 2011. Now my next goal is to kick it up to at least 6 figures and be doing that within the next 6 months. So 6 figures in 6 months, definitely doable. And we are going for that. And I'm getting some help, getting some great mentoring. I stumbled across a couple really good powerhouses in the home-based business industry that are, working with me. They're working with everybody actually in the group, but it's a group thing. And one guy was trained by Ray Higdon. Another of the guys was trained by Jim Rohn. So yeah, some 2 very powerful entrepreneurial traditions right there. The Higdon tradition, the Rohn tradition. And yeah, I get them both with these 2 mentors. I've got another mentor in another home-based business that I'm in who was mentored by Larry Thompson. And another powerhouse. I'm not as familiar with him as I am with Jim Rohn and Ray Higdon, but God, some 3 very powerful sponsors right there. And it's like, man, I wished I had kind of found this material years ago. But I'm grateful that I found it now. So I know with that kind of help, with that kind of guidance and mentorship, we can make things happen. And yeah, it's like I felt like I've been free since 2011. I have not had to go into an office. I have not had to travel anywhere unless I felt like it and needed to do a service for somebody else. But I haven't had to really leave the house necessarily to get paid. Sometimes I did, like when I was doing lawn care services, but that was of my own free will and volition. It was like, I could set my own schedule. I could say, okay, Mrs. Smith needs her lawn mowed by next Tuesday. I can do that over the weekend. It's cool with her. I can show up whenever I need to, whenever I feel like, and do it as long as it's done by next Tuesday. And so, yeah, I've had the freedom to really make my own schedule, set my own hours, and bring money into the house without having to leave the house. And one of our home-based businesses that we do is entirely home-based. We network with people and coach people, guide people over the phone. And mostly it's in the area of love and relationships. And we have people that find us through a third-party network that we use. And we get other people that really like us. They hunt us down in our private network where there's no other third party involved. And yeah, they message me whenever they need to talk and schedule in the appointment. We go ahead and talk. But it's a whole other level of freedom where you are your own boss. You can set your own hours. You can stay at home if you want. If you want to work someplace else, you can do that. And I mean, it's just an incredible amount of freedom. And I spent years dreaming about how I was going to be able to do this, because being my own boss, having my own business is something that I dreamed about from an early age, but I could never really figure out a way to do it. And then in the 1990s, the internet became a thing. Computers became a thing. The late 1990s, it's like, yeah, when did that guy invent the internet? I forget. But yeah, late 1990s is when I became aware of it, and began saving up for my first computer. And then, yeah, early 2000s, we began working from home. It was actually, 2011 was our first home-based business. And we've been building and progressing from there. But now what I'm going to do in the rest of this podcast is to just share a few tips on how you can build your own business from home, and just a few things to look out for, a few things that you're going to need, mindset, attitude, mostly mindset, really. A few mindset tricks you're going to need if you want to go from working for somebody else, reporting into an office, working out of an office cubicle, or maybe your own large office. Maybe you want to have time freedom. Maybe you want to be able to disconnect your time from your money and be able to set your own schedule. If you're a highly paid employee, already earning six figures working for somebody else, or maybe even more than that, maybe even seven figures working for somebody else, you may have a good income, but as long as your time is tied to your money, you don't really have a lot of personal time freedom. And on the one of our masterminds that I attended just this morning, Guy was sharing about this one executive worked for IKEA, and he was traveling, and he happened to be home at a certain time, and he was scheduled to leave the next day. Well, the next day he happened to remember was his son's birthday. And he wanted to have the freedom to be able to stay an extra day so he could celebrate his son's birthday. He called in to the office. They needed him in. He couldn't do it. He was a big guy in the company, but his boss was an even bigger guy. And they said, no, you've got to report back in as scheduled. No exceptions. So yeah, he had to leave, miss his son's birthday. And that reminded me too about another businessman, CEO that I remember reading about many years ago. Don't know his name, but I remember reading about this story in a motivational type of a magazine. And he was giving an orientation lecture to a lot of executives that were just coming in to the office, just getting their orientation in. And he was the big CEO, and he walked into the room and he said, I know a lot of you sitting out there are wondering, how can I get this guy's job? Referring to himself. And he said, let me share something with you people. He said, my daughter just graduated from college the other day. I have no idea what her favorite books are, what her favorite food is, if she's currently dating or seeing somebody. I really don't know that much about her at all, because I've spent most of my time working in this office being CEO of this company. That is the sacrifice I've had to pay to get to where I'm at right now. And so he said, if you want my job, that's the price you're going to have to pay. Do you still want it? And I think he kind of caught himself there in a moment of self-reflection. And here's a CEO probably pulling down 7 figures a year. And he's lamenting that he's been a wage slave. His time has not been his own. He has not had the time to really have a family life. His own daughter, was a stranger to him. He wasn't really bragging about that. I get the feeling he was lamenting that. And there may be some people in a similar position listening to this podcast wondering, how can I disconnect my time from my money and be a free human being? Some people are highly paid working for other folks. Other people are poorly paid working for other folks. I was in that situation for the longest time. But then I just got tired of that. I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to have my own freedom. And I started to work for it. And so whatever boat you're in, either highly paid, wanting to be your own boss, or poorly paid, wanting to be your own boss, what does it take to get from where you are right now to where you want to be sometime in the future? First thing it's going to take is commitment. Becoming your own boss, building your own business, building your own company, building your own work from home type of business situation. It's not as easy as a lot of people may tend to think it is. And honestly, it's not really that difficult either. Some people overcomplicate the heck out of these things. But yeah, it's not something that's going to happen for you overnight. It takes commitment, it takes planning, it takes learning, it takes having the willingness to grow and to learn. And the mistake that so many people make is they think, they find something like, oh, affiliate marketing. I can do this online. I've got a computer. I've got an internet. I'm going to walk into my office the next day, tomorrow, fire my boss, and then just go home and start making a bunch of money working from my bedroom. And they do that. Some people actually do that. Nothing to laugh about, but man, it can be a bad situation because a lot of people do that, and then they discover it's not as easy as they thought it was going to be. And they may be living off of credit cards for a year, not making any money, just learning how to do the craft, learning how to build a business. And a lot of people get discouraged. They think, okay, I should be making money in my first 30 days, right? I should definitely be making money in my first 6 months, right? And with the right knowledge, with the right experience, with the right tools, yeah, you can make that happen. But what if you don't have the skills? What if it's going to take you some time to grow the skills? Are you going to remain committed to the task? And when you fire your boss way too soon, when you try liberating yourself way too quickly, it creates a hardship on you, your family. I've heard of people that went from earning 6 figures a year to becoming homeless because they cut the strings too soon. They tried to fly way too quickly, and they had to start all over again. They had to rebuild. My advice is to work things committedly on a regular basis, but if you have to do it part-time, if you already have a full-time job, you want to build your home-based business part-time, do that. That's how I got started. My first home-based business was a lawn care job, and I was doing that because I needed gas money to get into my regular job, because my regular job wasn't really paying me enough to be able to keep the car in maintenance and to be able to earn enough for gas, oil, and tires to keep that sucker running. And so, yeah, I started my first home-based business, mowing lawns for other people. I would schedule the work for when I was going in anyway, going into my regular job. I would try to schedule lawn jobs on my way into work. And if I could get 1 or 2 lawn care jobs going on my way into work, then I would feel good about that. and then go into work, put in my 8-hour shift, come back home, sleep about 4 hours, wake up, just repeat the whole process. By the time I had been doing that lawn care job that I had built, I wasn't really an entrepreneur. I was really more self-employed. But by the time I had that thing going for about one season, I realized that, you know what, I can probably ramp this thing up and do a few other things too, and be able to take the home business thing full time. And so that's what I did. I had my reasons for doing that. I had to take care of my folks. They were suffering from, dad had vascular dementia. Mom was in the early stages of Alzheimer's disease. And I mean, before it became obvious, they used to joke that we need a keeper. And dad would always say, yeah, we need a keeper, looking at me. And by the time I had been working this lawn care gig for about a season, I could see he wasn't joking. I mean, he was really serious. And so, yeah, I decided to start my own home-based business so I could take care of my parents, take care of our home, and not have to worry about just commuting back and forth, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, where I could, schedule my time to my own satisfaction and be able to work things around, my needs, my family needs, and be able to schedule myself that way. So yeah, and home-based business has allowed me to do that. But it took commitment. It took long-term commitment. It took me working the part-time job, home-based business as a part-time job, working that for about a year before I decided, you know what, I've got what it takes to be able to do this full-time. And then I fired my boss, worked it full-time, been doing it ever since. Since 2011, we've been transitioning, away from work that requires me to do services for other people outside the home to really doing things that can be of service to other people from inside the home. Communicating with folks over the phone line, over the internet, and just doing coaching and affiliate marketing and network marketing and building a business that way. But it didn't happen overnight. It took long-term commitment. Another thing that you're going to have in addition to a long-term commitment is a strong why. Why do you want to work from home? Why do you want to be free? Maybe that alone is enough. I just want to be free. I want to get to know my family. I want to know what my wife's favorite color is. I want to know, what's going on around the house. When the cat has kittens, I'd like to be there for that. When one of the dogs is getting ill, getting sick, I want to be there when she dies. And yeah, I've had a lot of those experiences with home-based business. So personal freedom can be a strong why. But your own personal why, in the Think and Grow Rich mastermind call that I'm a part of, that I listen into and tune in for every morning, we have a definite major purpose, or your major definite purpose. Napoleon Hill talks about having a major definite purpose in your life to motivate you. Nowadays, we just call that having a strong why. But yeah, if your why is strong enough, why you want to be your own boss, why you want to build your own business, it has to be strong enough to get you out of bed every single morning to be able to do what you need to do to work your business, to promote your business. And there are going to be some mornings you don't feel like getting out of bed. This morning, I originally had planned on getting out of bed about 6 o'clock in the morning. And I had trouble getting to sleep. We had a very active house last night. My wife is a night owl. She likes to stay up late, do the cooking, listen to YouTube, listen to videos, talk to the cats. And for some reason, I was just listening to all that activity going on. I went to bed at 10 o'clock, got a couple hours of sleep, got up at midnight, saw what was going on, tried to lay back down into in the bed, get a few more hours of sleep. Didn't really get off to sleep. Set my alarm clock for 7 o'clock instead of 6. And I mean, when the alarm rang at 7 o'clock, I had just gotten off into a deep sleep. I did not want to get out of bed. So I laid back down for another 20 minutes. Finally decided, okay, I've got to do this thing because, yeah, I've got to be here. I've got to be promoting my business. I've got responsibilities to take care of, too. And so, yeah, you've got to have a strong enough why. Something that's going to get you out of bed, even on the mornings when you don't feel like getting out of bed. And so, yeah, sense of commitment, strong enough why, something that's going to keep you motivated, keep you going. The last thing I'm going to talk about is the willingness to learn, the willingness to implement what you learn, and the ability to be coachable. It's like I mentioned some of my mentors that are from 3 powerful schools of entrepreneurial thought. The Rohn School, the Higdon School, the Thompson School. And it's like, yeah, 3 really good powerhouse traditions of entrepreneurship right there. I've got the ability to be influenced by these guys. They're not all gone now. Ray Higdon's still around, still going there. But yeah, I've got the ability to be influenced by these people's teachings, even though 2 of them are now past. But you know, all the coaching in the world is worthless if you are not coachable. If you've got it in your mind, you want to do things your own way. And if you're a home-based entrepreneur, or you're wanting to become a home-based entrepreneur, a lot of us tend to be lone wolves in this industry. We want to call the shots. We want to be our own bosses. We want to do our own thing. But if you don't have the knowledge to be able to do that with, you have to learn. You have to take coaching. You have to become coachable. And there's a joke that I like to tell, that when you're working for somebody else and your boss is an idiot, okay, that's one thing. When you're working for yourself and your boss is an idiot, that's a whole other thing. And you've got to take care of that. You've got to become coachable. You've got to avail yourself to the training that you're going to need to be able to overcome your weaknesses and to be able to grow as a home-based entrepreneur. And for folks just getting into entrepreneurship, that's a learning curve. I mean, that's a whole other learning curve in itself. When you go from being a paid employee working for somebody else to being a home-based entrepreneur, it's a major mindset adjustment that you have to go through. So yeah, you have to be willing to learn, you have to be coachable, and you have to be willing to implement what you learn almost, I would say, immediately. Maybe not almost immediately, but damn close to immediately. You know, do what you learn immediately, and that's another way that we learn, another way that we grow. We learn the theory, and then we put it into practice as fast as we can, and then we learn from putting the theory into practice. And so, yeah, the last point, be coachable, be willing to learn, be willing to invest in your own training. When we first started home business, we did it on a shoestring budget that was just so thin. I was surprised we could even afford a shoestring. And I didn't want to have to invest in my own training. But I took a lot of time using free material, using free coaching that was available online, and just tuning into live streams like this, tuning into YouTube videos. And then I got involved in a business that had a lot of coaching, a lot of training that was available as part of the business package. And for $50 a month, I had access to a lot of training, a lot of good training that I used. Now I'm in a home-based business opportunity that really doesn't cost a whole lot. It's like you can get started in it for as little as $25 a month. And I mean, if you've explored trying to get your own business going, my dad started his own business. It wasn't home based. It was a traditional brick and mortar business, but it cost him tens of thousands of dollars to get that business going. He had to take out some major loans to make that a reality. And when I look back at what he had to go through to get his first business started, and it was a good business. I mean, it lasted for 30 some years, supported us for over 30 years. And I mean, man, it was well worth it. When he turned around and retired and sold that business, a business that cost him tens of thousands of dollars to build and to keep going, and a business that paid us for over 30 years, supported us for over 30 years, he was then able to sell that business for a few $100,000 and retire on it. So, I mean, yeah, it was time well spent. But here I am in the internet age, able to build a business from home without having to go into debt at all, and do it all for about $25 a month, $50 a month, other opportunities, $150 a month. I mean, the comparison is just mind-boggling because there really is no comparison. The advantages that we have in the internet age are just unimaginable. But I mean, one business that I would highly suggest that people take a look at is this academy. They teach affiliate marketing. They teach you how to build your first home-based business online. And they teach you the skills of promoting your business, doing affiliate marketing, things to look out for in the affiliate marketing space, and how to get leads, how to get people to come in, take a look at your business. And I mean, I have learned so much just at the $25 level that, I mean, there is really a lot of value to this. And that's where I met these guys, two of these guys that I've spoken of, one from the Jim Rohn tradition, the other from the Ray Higdon tradition. And I mean, they're right here. And you can get into this just by going to my link there, ralphshomebiz.com. Check it out for yourself. See if this works for you. If you want to learn affiliate marketing, if you want to learn how to build your first online business and do it from the comfort of your own home, or really anywhere else you choose, then I think that is a perfect place to start. And you can get going for $25. You can go all in for about $150 a month. And we're talking about earning potentially 80% recurring commissions. So, I mean, not small change. And the trainings that they have, the mastermind trainings, the recorded trainings, the written trainings, they are just next level. They're something else. So yeah, check it out, see if it works for you, and that's all we'll say about that. But yeah, if you want to build your own home-based business, if you want to have your own freedom, escape the rat race. And I mean, the rat race for one person can be quite different from the rat race of another. I was in the rat race where I was earning a low 5-figure income working for somebody else. Did that for decades. Finally got tired of it. Finally decided it was time to take action. Other people may be stuck in a rat race where they're making 6 figures a year, and they're becoming dissatisfied with it because their time is not their own. They don't know their own family anymore. They don't get to see their own family anymore. Some people may have a 7-figure rat race where, same situation. The money's good, but they don't have their own personal time freedom. And yeah, like that CEO that I talked about in the beginning of this live stream. It's like, didn't know who his own daughter was. She had become a stranger to him. That was the price that he paid to get to the position in life that he wanted to get at. And he just got to the point where he realized, my baby's all grown up. I don't even know who the hell she is. That's the price I paid. If you're in that position, maybe you want to investigate too how to disconnect your time from your money and start building a life of freedom rather than a life of, shall we say, highly paid slavery. Because being a wage slave comes in all packages. And if your time is not your own, how free are you, really? So if that's an issue for you, it may not be, but let me know in the comments below. What would you like to accomplish by building your own home-based business? What are your goals? What do you want to achieve? For me, I want to be able to get to a point, next stop, 6 figures a year. Next stop after that, my wife and I want to be able to be earning like 7 figures a year, own a large chunk of property where we can, have 2 home offices where I don't have to be listening into her when she's working, and she doesn't have to be listening into me when I'm working. But yeah, have a big enough house where we can have 2 soundproof offices and have enough property where we can have our own little nature preserve and be able to take care of wildlife without having the suburbs closing in on us like they are now. Yeah, be out in the sticks, more rural, have a nice little wildlife sanctuary, be out in nature, doing our own thing, living our own life. That's our last step in life, our last major life goal. And so what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish in your home-based business? And let me know in the comments down below. So anyway, this is Ralph signing out. Thanks for dropping by. Catch you in tonight's live stream, and we'll be focusing on a spiritual topic. Does God really want you to be happy and free? A lot of people may think they want to be happy and free, but if the higher power of your understanding, if you don't believe that higher power wants you to be free, then what's the point? That could be another mind trap that we can fall into. So we'll be talking a little bit about that tonight. Does the God of your understanding want you to be happy and free? I believe that he, she, it, however you think about your higher power, I believe that he, she, it really does want you to be happy, really wants you to be free. But we'll get into that in a whole other live stream tonight at 5:55. So until then, thank you for dropping by. This is Ralph signing out. Catch you later on tonight, my friends. Take care. Bye-bye. And how long does this take to